Happy Crimble and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today's video, well, it's a very special and fun Beatles Christmas Top 10. So please, come and join me. So hello and welcome to the channel, and I hope I find all you fab Beatle people doing really well out there, and thank you so much for being here with me today. So yes, on today's video, well, it's a very special Beatles Christmas Top 10 and featuring some fabulous items which are all related to and released in this seasonal time of year. So actually, while I was deciding what to show for this video, I started to think about how the Beatles themselves gave back a special little something to their fans via their fan club every year during this Christmas period. So going back to late 1963, Tony Barrow, who was working for Brian Epstein, came up with an idea for the Beatles to make a special gift to the fans of their fan club and record a message. So a script was produced by Tony Barrow, and although the Beatles actually ad-libbed quite a bit of it, these ramblings were actually recorded on the 17th of October 1963 at Abbey Road, and after heavy editing, a flexi disc was produced and sent to their fans on the 6th of December 1963. So when other fans actually found out about the fan club free gift, an influx of members started to join the fan club. However, this now caused a problem as they now had run out of the flexi discs and covers. It was then decided actually to repress 10,000 extra discs without a sleeve and include an apology letter which accompanied these discs in early 1964. So in all though, 40,000 flexis were produced of this, the Beatles' first Christmas record. So in subsequent years of 1964 and 65, the format was actually much the same, with the Beatles around the microphone, laughing, singing and generally saying thanks for buying our records, etc. But by 1966 the format had actually changed, and actually then we were treated to a Beatles scripted pantomime performance called Everywhere is Christmas, recorded in the basement of Dick James's studio. Once again in 1967, we got the Christmas Time Is Here Again flexi, and this time the fans were treated to a real Beatle fest of skits, songs on plenty of jam jars. Sadly, it was also the last Christmas flexi where they were all together in the same room. So the final two flexis in 1968 and 1969 were all recorded separately, and actually the editing and trickery was splendidly put together by none other than Maurice Cole, or as he was better known, Kenny Everett. So with no new Christmas record in 1970, the previous 7 discs were presented in a final album format which was sent to fans in the UK and also the USA in December 1970. What I do find outstanding though is that the Beatles stayed true and faithful to their fans right to the end, regardless of their personal or financial problems within the Beatles. Well, I really think you guys are really going to like this top 10, and there's definitely maybe 1 or 2 surprises for everybody that's watching. But right before then though, of course, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout-outs, and it's a very special Christmas Beatle Dave hello to, and it's a very big list today. Craig Warner, hiya Craig, Monty Rose, Elliot Ween from New York City, Mike Rice, how you doing Mike, Nick Elias, Edward Russell, Gav Axman Spins, check his channel out, Mr Sailor Sam, Michael Nolan, Zappa, Conga Man, ETI 313, Callum Canary, Peter C. Meadows, Carrie Hewitt, Super Fuzzy Mama, Barbara Kirk, Pal Luce, Banterous Engines, Aquatarchus, Moxie Vision and Generic. So that's a massive hi to all of you Beatle people from yours truly, Beatle Dave, and you're all on Santa's good list. Right, so now it's time for a look at my top 10 Christmas and related items from my collection. so come and join me.
Number 10.
So firstly then, in the number 10 position, well, it's a great fun affordable little collectible which is Christmas related, and it's a Beatles London diecast taxi which is also Christmas themed. Obviously Corgi is synonymous with the Beatles as they released the original Yellow Submarine model, and obviously quite a few times since its original release. But this 1/36 scale taxi released in November 2020, well, it's a great collectible and it's finished in Santa Claus red. Is there such a colour? Well, anyway, the value roughly is around £15 to £20, and I believe it's still available.
Number 9.
Well, in the number 9 position, it's a Christmas item from 2009. Now, this is the same year that the Beatles Rock Band and also the mono and stereo box sets came out, and this little mini CD box set was aimed at the Christmas market the same year. So this special box with the From Me to You inscription on has possibly 4 of the best Beatles albums ever made: Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper and Abbey Road. Wow, what a lineup. So that's it, 4 CDs, 1 presentation box. You know, it's valued around about £25 to £30, worth every penny for those 4 CDs alone.
Number 8.
Well, in the number 8 position are 2 very special programmes for the Beatles Christmas shows of 1963 and 1964. And generally actually, both these Christmas shows were a series of variety pantomime stage productions organised by Brian Epstein during the 1963 to 64 and 64 to 65 Christmas seasons. Both of these shows featured other Epstein managed acts and also concluded with a 25-minute set from the Beatles. Now, despite their personal dislike for pantomime, the shows were highly successful, with the 1963 to 1964 run selling 100,000 tickets. So the first show was at the Astoria Cinema, Finsbury Park, with the second show and final one at the Hammersmith Odeon. Now, value-wise, we're probably talking around about £100 to £120 each for both of these, and of course the second programme cover design was designed by John. What a great piece of Beatle history.
Number 7.
Well, at number 7 in this list then is probably one of my favourite items here, and it's the Beatles Christmas box set released on December the 17th, 2017. So this fabulous looking set, it compiled the 7 annual Christmas messages originally sent to fan club members on flexi-disc between 1963 and 1969. Now this box set actually features, all 7 coloured vinyl singles, and there's also a booklet with all the original fan club newsletters in. And personally, I think this is absolutely one of the best items, related Beatles items, ever been released. But Apple, where is the CD version? Okay, so value-wise, well, obviously this time of year puts a premium on this set, but we're probably talking around £150 to £200.
Number 6.
So at number 6 then, and it's a very nice item from the USA Beatles fan club, which is an Apple Cube. And I was trying actually to find out if this particular item was an item sent out to members at Christmas time or not. And actually it was as simple as checking the date stamp on this actual envelope it came in. So it seems it says December the 22nd, 1970, which actually fits right in to this top 10. So the cube itself then actually has individual pictures of the guys, and of course it has that great big apple. So, this is a relatively rare item, especially a sealed one like this, which these days is probably worth in the region of £200 to £250.
Number 5.
So in the number 5 position then, it's a Beatles double EP released just in time for the Christmas market on December the 8th, 1967. And of course, it's the original fantastic Magical Mystery Tour EP in mono. Or is it? Well, the answer is yes, it's definitely a mono EP. However, this copy has side 3, which plays in stereo with the YEX prefix in the dead wax. Well, I can honestly say I've never ever seen another for sale or ever listed. And personally, I think that this is one rare EP for just that one reason alone. And it's also in mint condition. So I'm thinking, a conservative £200 to £250 for one of these, if you can find one.
Number 4.
So at number 4 then, it's another record. Well, actually, it's a flexi disc. And this item, it's the final Beatles Christmas flexi made in 1969. But this one, it's an ultra rare double-sided test pressing of the Christmas flexi. And it doesn't have any printed labels like the official Christmas flexi did. So, I bought this many moons ago and often wondered about it as it was slightly different where it didn't have any particular printed labels on it. Now, it wasn't until I was reading a record collector magazine about the Beatles Christmas flexis, and lo and behold, it mentioned a test pressing of the 1969 flexi. So, mystery solved. So obviously, this is one rare flexi and I've never seen another one sold, but price-wise, I'm going to hazard a guess around £250 to £300 and quite possibly even more.
Number 3.
So number 3 in this list then, and it's an album that's been counterfeited or bootlegged an incredible amount of times, and even with a very good Apple label too. So the USA Beatles Christmas album, well, it mirrored the UK edition with all 7 Christmas messages, and it was exactly the same as the UK Fan Club LP. However, the cover on the USA one is much better and more imaginative. This LP being heavily copied, original USA copies have sharp images and text, especially where it says Palladium in one of those pictures. Also, the labels, the Apple labels in dent ring shouldn't be any bigger than 1 1/4 inches. If it's bigger than that, I'm afraid it's a copy. Well, value depending on condition, it's around £350 to £400 for a nice genuine one.
Number 2.
Well, the penultimate item at number 2 then, and it's an album I showed a little while back on my top 10 rarest Beatles albums, and of course you can't have a Christmas list without this one, and of course it's the one and only Beatles From Then to You UK Christmas LP. Now this was actually sent out in December 1970 to whoever was still in the fan club because of dwindling numbers due to the fact the Beatles' official split happened back in April 1970. So this particular album then, it's getting very hard to find these days in anything like mint condition, and for a really nice one, you've got to be looking in the region of about £500. So before I show the number 1 spot, it's time to have a recap. So here's a recap of my top 10 Beatles Christmas items. So at number 10, Baby You Can Drive My Corgi Car. It's a Christmas themed taxi and it's still available to buy. At number 9, it's a special From Me to You Christmas 4 CD box set from 2009 featuring 4 of the best Beatles CD albums. Flying in at number 8, not one, but it's 2 original Beatles Christmas show programmes from 1963 and 1964. In at 7, it's the Beatles Christmas singles box set from 2017 featuring all 7 discs on fabulous coloured vinyl. In at 6, well, no one puts BeatleDave in a cube, it's the USA Fan Club Apple Cube from 1970. On to the top 5 position then, and it's the UK Mono Magical Mystery Tour EP with the mispressed side 3 playing stereo. It's definitely magical and also a mystery. Can't be many of these about. In at 4 then, and it's the ultra rare, rarely seen Christmas Fan Club test pressing flexi disc from 1969. Then at 3, it's another USA entry, and it's the Beatles Christmas album on Apple from 1970. Be very careful though of those counterfeits, you have been warned. And the penultimate Christmas item then is the UK From Then to You Beatles Fan Club Christmas LP. So now it's time to reveal my number 1 Beatles Christmas item.
Number 1.
So on to the number 1 position in this Christmas list, And I remember actually being so fascinated by these items when I first heard about them in a BBC radio programme called The Beatles at Christmas, and that was back in 1982. And they actually played snatches of these flexes and I was absolutely transfixed. And obviously it's not just one item. Well, we've got a complete set of 7 Beatles UK flexi discs pressed by Lintone from 1963 to 1969, and what I consider to be the ultimate Christmas rarities as a whole. And you know, these are always high on Beatles collectors lists. So from 1963, the Beatles would record a special message for their fan club members and send them out in a cardboard mailer. Now initially a lot of these would include newsletters or possibly Super Pics leaflets along with the flexi and the picture sleeve. So in all, just a wonderful set to own these days and collect, and every Christmas they seem to fetch premium prices, especially for a nice set of 7 with newsletters, etc. So all of these could easily fetch in excess of £1,000. Well, that pretty much wraps up today's Beatles Christmas Top 10 list, and I really hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've shown you as much as I've enjoyed showing it to you. And of course, it's always nice to hear from any of you guys about today's subject or anything else, and you know I'll always message you back. Well, I just want to say once again, you know, thanks for your continued support for me and of course the channel, and I'll always do my best to show you plenty of great stuff. So a big Merry Christmas, and I'll definitely be seeing you on the next video in the new year. And as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give me a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off. A Merry Christmas.